Hello, and welcome to the next episode of In the Lab, the podcast about the IE, with the IE, before the IE. Today I'm joined by my great friend, Rabbit, known as a TO for Smashforge and the MTM Esports, and also hands-on creating for MTM Esports itself. Such a great person in the community. Rabbit, thank you for being on this show.
Yeah, man, pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm excited. How you feeling today? How you feeling?
I'm feeling mighty fine.
Feeling mighty fine? That's the way to feel every day. Every single day, man. Well, let's just jump right into it, man. So, can you just introduce us more into who you are in the community for the Inland Empire? So, people who might not know who you are.
Basically, um, in high school, I played a mod of Brawl called Project M, and that was like the Smash community that I got involved with my
Oh yeah,
high school friend Emilio, and
oh
that's
yeah,
kind of what I did through all of high school.
great game.
But yeah, but like I went to a bunch of tournaments. I never really like TO'd or anything like that. I went to like a couple like really big tournaments. Like I even went to a national, and it was really cool. And it definitely kind of got me thinking, kind of opened up my eyes to it. But I hadn't really done anything at the time. And then out of high school, I actually moved into uh, essentially like a streamer house with a bunch of like fresh out of high schoolers.
Yeah,
Um, and that was was to become the MTM house. But basically, just one day, kind of after Ultimate came out, we were just kind of sitting there shooting the shit one night, just playing, and I was like, our house wouldn't be too bad for like a house tournament. And then everyone was kind of joking, like, yeah, like that'd be kind of sick. And I was like, I think we could do it. Like I've been to like a bunch of house tournaments, and our pad is really like optimal for that. And they're like, well, I mean, if you can plan it really well, like you could try one out. So I spent a bunch of time, watched some YouTube videos, hit up some mutual acquaintances that I had known through the scene, and um, started
cool.
studying. I didn't like just right off the bat run it. I was kind of like planning it for a while, and then ironically enough, I I had gone to like a casual tournament. It wasn't like an actual tournament. It was just my friend was hosting a tournament at his house just for fun, and he invited like, just his close friends,
Mm-hmm.
but like he didn't really think about it. But he posted it in the IE Smash page because he was in it, and he was just like, "Hey, it's a casual tournament,"
Yeah,
and nobody like not like a bunch of like random people to us showed up, but this one guy who later I would figure out would be Mears. I'm sure you know who that is.
Oh, Mirrors, who
Um,
doesn't know
yeah,
Brian?
Mears
Mirrors?
was there, but I didn't know who he was because I didn't play four. So like
Yeah,
he was the only person there that was kind of like giving me a time like a rough time in bracket, and so I was sitting there just like
he's a good player, by the way. He's a
yeah
great player.
yeah, and so I was just kind of talking to him, and I was telling him like, oh yeah, I don't really play four or anything. I played PM and all this stuff, and we were just sitting there talking, and I added him on Facebook and stuff. And he was like, hey man, if you want to get more involved in the scene, here I'm gonna put you in this group chat. So I got put in the IE group chat. He got me in the like the group. He started teaching me all this stuff, and so
Mm,
I was just like, hey man, this is a man with connections
connect.
and
He knows people. He knows
like
people.
yeah, he knows people. So I just flat out asked him, like, hey man, like I'm trying to learn how to be a TO. I want a TO for Ultimate. Like what do you know about that? And he's like, hey, funny story about that. I
I was
actually
the
yeah, I actually was the TO for like the biggest IE Smash 4 tournament, and I was like, oh, you're that Mears. Yeah, you TO'd for fucking 0G, dude. Like that's crazy. So I was sitting here like, just blown away. So he kind of like offered me some advice and whatnot, and so I kind of used that to help kind of build like this is what like is a what everyone thinks is like a standard tournament, and then I kind of tweaked it to like I think these things should be prominent for tournaments, and I kind of made it my own a little bit, and I ran the first MTM. I think even the first one had like 40 something people or something. Like it was like, and not only that, this is the first time I ran a tournament. Hadn't met anybody from the Smash Four and coming into the ult scene, and like, uh, Ouija was there, Caesar was there,
Woo! You
like
got
oh,
you got the Titan. You got the
there was
Titan.
yeah. I'm pretty sure I don't think it was like Nitro, but there was a couple other like PR level like
Hip
hitters
didn't go,
there.
did he? I don't think Hip went.
No, I don't think Hip went first time,
Oh, okay.
but like there was a
Heavy
ton of
hitters.
hitters, and
Heavy hitters.
I got to meet a bunch of like what would now be familiar faces, in the community
Yeah.
day one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and everyone, was giving me a lot of like hype about like, yo, like this place is sick. Like I love your tournament. Like how come you went around for four? And everyone was kind of taken aback that like, like who the fuck is this guy? And so I was
Yeah,
like,
like
hey, so I talked to my people and I'm like, hey, I want to do this more often. Like I want to turn this into like a biweekly or a weekly thing. And they're like, sure. I mean, if just as long as you can help us out and make sure you keep the house kind of not destroyed for smashers being here every week.
keep
That's
up
fine.
kept, we keep hosting the tournament,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what
So
you
that
hosted was amazing. MTM Esports,
well,
on the weekly,
yeah,
you
no,
know,
that wasn't even a thing back in the day. It was just me and a couple of my friends, and we were just running. I didn't even know Derek for the first like month or
really,
two of MTM existing. Yeah, yeah. So what happened with that was, um, it was completely like casually ran, and
yeah.
after like probably a month of successful MTMs, um, I started learning a new concept of having players pre-register for tournaments and like promoting
Oh,
it more, like not just day of, like promoting it more
like
often.
beforehand, right?
Yeah, so I posted about
My
the
Facebook.
next MTM, and someone like instantly pre-reg, and I remember like I used to lurk it to see, like I would get so excited when someone pre-reg, like yes,
I know,
cool.
right? Because shows you it's like, oh my god, that person's coming. Let's go. All that.
Yeah,
And I know what you're feeling because I was a TO for some time. Not as long. I don't think as long as you were, but I did TO back in Smash 4 starting off, and
yeah,
I know that feeling. When you get something
yeah,
pre-reg, you're like, whoo, like, oh, Saturday's
yeah,
gonna be lit. Like, oh, getting these people coming here. Like, you see like 20 people pre-reg, naturally be like, that's only 20 people. But like
yeah.
to a TO, you're just like, oh, that's a lot. We're getting a good amount of people coming.
Yeah, so there's one time like I was lurking it and someone like frame one pre-regged. And so I looked and like this person had like they had like a prefix and like their name and they had like all their like socials linked to it.
You know,
And they look legit. So I
yeah.
was like, yo, like someone up there is going to my tournament. And then I opened up like their Smash G profile and I was like, yo, this person's sponsored by HyperX. I was like, what? So I was looking, I was like, who the fuck is Chicken Cup? Like it's such a weird name. I've never heard of this person before. And
Chicken.
so yeah, and so I was like, I'm gonna stalk this dude because I'm gonna figure out who he is before he comes to my tournament. If he's like a pro smasher or something. So
Yeah.
so completely by chance, he had his Twitch linked to his Smash GG, so I clicked it, and just by chance, he happened to be streaming right then. So
Really?
I was watching his stream, and I'm like, yo, this guy's really fucking good. So like,
What was he streaming then? Do you remember?
he was playing Ultimate.
Was playing Ultimate?
Yeah, he was playing Ultimate.
Oh,
He was playing Pit, and so I was watching him. Um, and I asked my friend Emilio, like, yo, you ever heard of this dude? Like he pre-reg, he's like sponsored and stuff, and he's like, no, but you should like hit him up and like talk to him. And I'm like, is that weird if I like just
is
come
it?
into his stream? He has no idea who I am. And he's
Fuck, you
like,
put
no,
him like my tournament.
he's like, no, that's not weird. Let's do it. So I hit him up and I'm like, yo, like, hey, Chicken Cup, like, I'm the TO for this tournament you signed up for. Like, can't wait to meet you. Like, you seem cool. And I was like, kind of top playering him because I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we just like talked. He seemed like a cool dude. And then he ended up not coming to that tournament. And I was pissed because I was so hyped to meet him. But he ended up coming to the next one. He was like, "Oh my bad, I got tied up doing UCR stuff." But he came to the next one, and like immediately, like we started like hanging out. And immediately, I was like, "All right, this is a homie."
Yeah.
And so he helped me lab. Like he showed me a bunch of stuff in Smash. He like was critiquing my tournament, but in like a good way, not being like an asshole. He was telling me like, "Oh, here's like better tips for like running bracket," and he was just giving me all these like ideas. And so I just started hitting him up like, hey, you just want to help me run this? Like, if you're free, like, just come hang out and help me do like check-ins or
Mhm.
help me call matches or help me, run stream or something. And he was like, yeah, I'm down. And that's kind of how that started. He just started helping me do stuff, and then eventually it
And
grew into like one day he hit me up after a while. I don't remember how long. A while of us running MTM together. Um, and he was like, hey, so I wanted to run my own tournament, so that way we could have another UCR tournament because
yeah.
they only had one that was like a house tournament that was UCR sanctioned only. Like you and I couldn't go, but he was
Oh,
like, I want a tournament that'll kind of bridge UCR players and the rest of the IE.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like I fuck with that entirely. Like I'm super down. Like how can I help? And he's like, well, I kind of just one of my friends like worked at this restaurant place. I kind of just walked in there and asked the owner if I could run a tournament there,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, like I thought he was gonna be like he got told to fuck off or something because like doesn't seem very viable. And he's like, yeah, the owner was super down. He said I could do it, and I'm like, what?
Sheesh. That's what I love about when you find those business owners who are more than willing to host events like this. Like, yeah, let's do it. They're a huge reason why there's so much support in terms of events because sometimes you just can't keep hosting at your own house or your own place because you're not able to. So you have to find other businesses to bridge and you know, um, get that influence out. And those
Yeah.
business owners are able to, are willing to, I should say, willing to offer up their place like that for an event like that. It's just like it's just so nice to hear that people are just like that will be willing to do that.
Oh no, it was incredibly lucky. So yeah, that's how Two Frame got started. And basically after
Sheesh.
that, that's we just kind of had our little our little empire going, that we were just running these badass tournaments, and
Mhm.
it just kept getting progressively more popping and popping. And um like I started being more proper with having socials for like the MTM name, but it was just MTM Smash, back in the day, and it was just kind of that was just kind of what we were doing. We were just hanging out, having a good time running tournaments and stuff. And then with time, I kind of made it my personal goal, that I wanted to meet other prominent TOs, or faces in the scene. I don't care if they didn't too they were. I wanted to meet people who were like popping in Smash Four, popping now, whatever. I wanted to know what the ice scene was like. So I started going to other tournaments. I met Jerry and Jeremy. I met all the UTG people. Like I started traveling a little bit out of region, going to like WNF meeting like 2GG people. Um,
You meet so much people, like and you get to see and you get to hear like how much of your influence and how much of the things you pursued pursued that you meet so many different people on the way. You know,
yeah,
you never
yeah,
thought to have ever met.
I know, and it was really nice, kind of being able to have more other TOs to talk to, and not only that, like other events to go hang out at, um,
No, definitely,
and
I get you. Yeah.
and we found so much success so rapidly that basically, um, Derek approached me one day and was like, "Hey, so how would you feel about running a regional?" And I was like,
Woo, and what
"Regional,
nobody,
regional, like
if
yeah."
anybody does not know listening to this, IE had its own regional once. And this is what Rav is gonna be bringing up right now. That regional, oof, I still remember it to this day. It's
But
amazing.
yeah. So basically, he hit me up and was like, "Hey, so I have some IE melee people who are looking to get a regional going, but um, they want like more backing with more people there. So they want to run ultimate as well. Would you be down to be like the head TO for ult for this thing?" And I was like,
Mm.
of course I was like, "Yeah, I'm down. It's another tournament." I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
You're like, coach,
So,
yeah, and you're thinking like, oh,
so
it's a good 20, 25, 30 people tournament. I can
Oh
do
no,
that.
I knew it was gonna be big, but
Yeah.
not what it ended up being. So like we had like all of our little group chats. We started planning stuff out, and very quickly I realized that I kind of had more than just ultimate to worry about. I kind of had to be very well rounded in helping melee kids, and helping plan stuff with the venue, going there all the time, like actually like seeing the space. I'm kind of like visualizing what needed to be set up, getting in contact with vendors because we had an artist alley, and there was a lot more than just rental, and that was what really taught me like how to
Hmm.
be a good TO, was really learning how to go down the checklist of like, is do I have all my ducks in a row,
Yeah.
and being able to build a proper team to be able to help me get all this done. Because like a lot of people give me too much respect about like, oh yeah, that's Rabbit, he ran breakout, it was so popping. I'm like, no, like my team ran breakout. Like I was just basically, I just gathered the people, and they were the ones that was actually putting in the work. I was just kind of the face of it because someone told me to. But
Yeah. Give you the
I put
opportunity. Now you give the opportunities to others to help you out. You know.
but we showed up and we kicked ass, and that tournament was extremely popping. Everyone had an absolute blast, and I had people literally day of asking me, "Rabbit, bro, like when is breakout too?" And that's
And
when
then breakout too.
that's when it kind of like clicked for me, like I can get used to doing this. Like this is something I want to do
Yeah.
long term. Like I really like this feeling of, I like planning stuff out and like seeing a successful event go out and seeing people have a good time, seeing all the hype, seeing all the salt, like all that stuff at the for tournament environment. Like I love that. Like it's such a great feeling. I love being able to um, be a part of the community in that way that I wasn't really able to before. Because like I'll be honest, everyone knows that I'm in bracket. I'm super resident O2er. I'm terrible at Smash, but
Now you.
being a TO, I was able to experience the community in a way I wasn't really able to before. Because
Yeah,
as a as an O2er, I had a lot of like self-image issues of like, oh, I'm trash as a game. No one wants to hang out with me. I can't talk to top players. Like
yeah.
I'm
You're
gonna
like, I'm not worth it, basically.
yeah. But with this, like I literally was having like I'm hip at my house tournament, like hanging out with me, and he's like world known, like Armada knows who that dude is. So it was just super surreal, like where it was taking me.
Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting that you brought that up because that you are able to find a different pathway to what others want to feel through as being a player, but instead you got it through being a tournament organizer, and
yeah,
it's
and
a
I
similar
don't.
feeling of like being like a champ that runs 2GG events. You're like
Yeah,
that feel that everyone knows.
and it's a lot different versus from like just trying to be Hollywood per se versus like I just want to be I want to be like the TO. Like I want to be known as like that's Rabbit. Like he runs good events.
Exactly.
And so that's when I started making kind of like my game plan is I want to keep progressing. I want to keep running bigger, badder things.
Mhm.
I want to keep going up, and I want to keep doing this.
So tell me when did the natural evolution of MTM happen, or how did that
So,
happen?
so basically, after breakout happened, and we were all really pumped about that.
Yeah,
We just kept running our two locals. Kept doing our thing, kept progressing, and then um, later on down the line, basically like I'll leave it at some shit happened at the
yeah,
MTM house,
yeah.
and everybody there ended up having to leave. Like nothing like actually bad. It was just
What happened
the,
happened basically.
yeah. Basically, like long story short, the actual like homeowner who he doesn't even he lived out in LA. He doesn't even live around here. He just
Yeah.
wanted to have like his family have like a nice house to stay, so he like very shittily kind of kicked us all out.
Oh well.
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah, it was a really bad situation. But
Wow.
so we had to cancel MTM, and it was like super heartbreaking. And was even more devastating was like you know I wanted to host a really special last MTM and have like a one last Zaw kind of thing because I wasn't sure what the future was going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this like celebratory last one, and we had like 90 something people at my house. Like in my two-story house, there was like easily like there was 84 people in bracket in a house
In
tournament.
a
84
house.
people in bracket at a house tournament, and even more than that, just they're spectating. Because I told people I was gonna cut the cap at like 60 something, and then I'm like, I can't do that on the last MTM. We're going
Yeah, keep
crazy mode.
like, yeah, keep going through.
And the last MTM was so nuts, and so we're trying to run bracket, trying to and everything. It was going smooth. We had like a ton of setups. I had like 20 something setups for this. Like it was super like optimal, and it was going well. The
Yeah.
the biggest downfall was I had these little stickers everywhere that had our guest Wi-Fi password on it, but it was all linked to one router.
Oh.
So many people connected to my Wi-Fi that my ISP was like, "Oh, there's some sketchy shit going on here," and they locked my router.
Oh
So
my God.
so we didn't have internet for like a solid hour. Like you could quote that like Dino Party and Derek on this
Uh-huh.
because Dank clutched it because both of them gave me their phone because my phone had no service. Both of them gave me their phones and I used their fucking 4G on their phones to run bracket and they both helped me. It was the clutchest thing ever.
Dude,
So
that's
we
high.
and then eventually our Wi-Fi came back on. We ran bracket again. Nobody listened, of course. Our router got locked again, so we just kept using phones. And then bracket ended up honestly like finishing like pretty late, like 12-1 ish for
Yeah.
like an 80-person rig bracket. It was like 1 or 2 ish, I think. So like top eight was kind of late, but it was all literally top eight was like just straight PR. So like they were all chilling anyway, and like that night I had like 20 something people like just crash on my floor. Like everyone just hung out just for the culture and just that feeling of like all that chaos ended up being clutch. Nobody was even mad. Everyone was having a good super good time. Like
Dang.
I was just like, damn, dude, like I like this. I kind of made it. Like everyone thinks I'm a good TO. Like I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So
And for you, to be able to be the one that, in a sense, pioneered for that for yourself, that you offer that experience, you take that experience with you like for the rest of your life.
yeah, which was the idea, especially going into like After I finished all like my moving situation, and I kind of like figured all that out. I kind of sat down with Derek, and I was like, well, shit, like where do we go from here, dude? Like
Yeah, it's like we did it, but now what?
I kind of, I want to keep going up. So we scouted like daily. Him and I, we were looking for venues, calling people. Every now and then we would go to places, and a lot of places just weren't down with it, or they weren't like in my vision of what I wanted for venue space. Like I kind of have like my little rabbit guidelines of what I look for.
What are
And
what are your rabbit guidelines?
hey, I can't spill the juice in this
Okay, you're
podcast.
right. You're right. Okay,
I don't
good
know.
answer. Good answer.
Hey, hit me up for the paid TO coaching. I'm just kidding.
Right, but get it on freaking like Patreon and stuff like that. Like pay for my services right now.
No, no. I mean, the general rule of thumb is like I want people to be comfortable along with having a good time. So
Sure.
I want there to be adequate um, setup space, chilling space. Like needs to be good parking. The venue management needs to be like crystal clear. They understand who we are and what we got going on. They know like we're some nerds here to fuck each other up in bracket. They need to know like our culture.
To play a game, basically.
So
Basically.
there's not really any confusion there, right?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really able to kind of fit this criteria for a while. And then while this was happening, I also talked to like all of my immediate close friends that I grew like really tight with throughout the course of MTM. Familiar faces, like Java, Zeta Diamond, Beth Hamster, Arkister, like Derek, Toski, like all of those homies.
The current
Um,
MTN.
like yeah, but, well, like the crew's gotten really big as of late, but initially, it was just like four or five of us kind of being kind of like a big think tank for ideas, and I kind of hit up and I'm like, hey, let's make this legit. I want to do this right. I want to rebrand. We're gonna be MTM Esports. I want to be legit. Rebranded all of our socials. I kind of gave everybody some like general guideline like jobs. I guess I kind of was like, hey, I want like Sam, Ryan, they're really good commentators. I wanted to start sponsoring players. I wanted people to help me do like editing. I wanted a graphic designer, so I hit you up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I wanted a team. I wanted to be legit because I kind of sat there and had that epiphany moment of like, well, I have like I have the ideas, but
Yeah.
to get there, I need help.
Help with
I
it, you
need
know.
And so, I was sitting here like, what does, 2GG and these other people have that I don't? And I'm just like, well, they have a person for everything. They have help. They have people who all share visions together, and they're really good at getting stuff done because they have the resources because they share it.
Exactly.
So I kind of, assembled my little MTM Avengers, and we just kept cooking. And then
Yes, dude. Yes. So
completely by
how long has MTN been going on for now?
as of now, I don't even remember when we actually like founded. To be honest, I'd say like a year we've been legitimately MTM esports.
About a year?
Yeah, like overall, as like the MTM as like a name that you can, when you first start hearing it. The first MTM I ever ran was in February of 2019, or no, 2018. 'Cause I was no wait, yeah, Ultimate's been out for a year and a half. So yeah, February 2019.
February
No,
29th?
no, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Oh,
Hold on, because we're in.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be 2019 because
Okay.
it came out December 2018. Yeah.
Okay, see that's perfect then. You guys been going on for a good while now, honestly, for a good life of the game, and still going strong even during quarantine now. I know you guys have a lot of plans in the future, especially right now. You guys have an upcoming Wi-Fi tournament that you guys plan on doing regularly. How's that going?
Yeah, we're hoping, and we have like really high expectations that it's going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
We were a bit hesitant to get into the Wi-Fi game because kind of
Yeah,
right out the gate there was a lot of people that were kind of on that train because
yeah.
there's it's a bit more like lackluster when it's Wi-Fi, but I, after talking with my team a lot, I kind of realized, what, if I could still at least bring the same energy to Wi-Fi tournaments that I sort of have at locals,
Mm-hmm.
people will be down. They like the MTM name, and they'll come hang out, they'll come kick it, even though it's just Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's that same concept of you say bringing the same energy that you would want as if it was offline. Speaking to that, what are some things that I guess community members within the IE or even in general overall um need to understand or don't really understand the realism of TOing an event. You know, people tend to think like, "Oh, TOing that's easy."
Oh,
It's not easy.
yeah,
uh,
I've had, for every 100 people who tell me how great of a TO I am, there's always that one person, who tries to give me beef about, oh, what you do actually isn't that important. You just tell faces to go to a screen. Like that's not actually that cool. And I'm like,
do people
listen,
say that?
hey, yeah, I've
Oh my
I've
god,
had I've had some fair run-ins with people who are pretty nasty to me about like,
that's crazy.
TOing ain't shit. And my response always is, you know, at face value, tournament organizing is just as the name implies. You could be as vanilla boring as hey, here's this tournament at this place at this time. You show up, you just bark at people for the entire time, and that's it. They're there to play Smash. But I
Mhm.
think what really makes a TO per se is like having character, not
Mhm.
and you kind of bring that character and like a level of um,
A level of professionalism
yeah,
too.
a level of professionalism and like a standard. You bring a standard to your tournament,
Yeah,
so when people go there, they know like they're not just like you change the game of you hear people say things like instead of like, oh, I'm going to this tournament tonight, versus like, oh, I'm going to MTM tonight. Like there's there's different flavor there, and there's
exactly.
like that.
Expectations.
Yeah, and to get that level of respect, like you actually have to know what you're doing, and you have to be constantly have improvement in mind. You need to be able to handle criticism. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be
Mhm.
able to understand problems and know how to resolve them. You run
Mhm.
into a lot of issues, heat of the moment, that you have to um, be able to respond to on the fly. That
Exactly. In the moment,
catch
like
you off guard. Like you have all these random issues, from uh, you go to start bracket and you realize you forgot to hit up the bank. You have no change for check-ins. It's
jeez,
kind
I
of
know that
scary.
feeling. I know that feeling.
You got to solve that.
Yeah.
Done. Uh, you're doing seating, and you have to be able to not get overwhelmed by doing 16 other things that you forget. Oh shit, I forgot to put ghost in bracket.
Oh my god, I feel so bad. Honestly, I've done that before, and I feel terrible. We forget
uh,
something.
you have to be able to handle things like uh, parents getting upset because they don't understand
How long
that
you tournaments?
that their kid happened, got had a the tournament of their life, and they're in top 8, top 5, or whatever, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and they're still in bracket, and they're like, well, why didn't you run this faster? And I'm like, well, I mean, this is how it averagely goes. Like your kid just popping off, and they just don't really understand that. They're just like, oh, why you suck.
It's like the focus more on like I want to go home than like dang my child's fire at Smash. You know, it's like dang
Yeah.
okay.
So like not only is there a lot of like just taboo wild things that get thrown at you, you have to be able to um you got to be a good planner. You got to be able to understand, like, you got to be able to establish checklists and really know, like, um, do I have all the things I need to make this, a success?
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of situations where, one simple mistake, and now you're scrambling, and it doesn't feel good, especially when your main priority, like, at a minimum level, just running bracket, or if you add like a stream to that, um, and you're also like calling out match and stuff, just that alone gets very overwhelming, um, for some people. And even when I was getting started out, like that is it's scary sometimes. Oh,
Mm,
did I make sure I call out the right tags? Are they going to the right setup? Um,
yeah,
it's making sure you kind of get your routine down, per se. Um,
it's essential, definitely. Especially if you think about it as to a player's perspective. When a TO is not like that, you tend to judge, and it's not bad. Because not every TO is perfect, but you can't help as a player to see it as like, dang, this tournament is being run terribly or poorly because I've been told to go to the wrong setup or the TO forgot to announce the match, even though there's open setups and there's matches to be announced. It's a
yeah,
lot of things that like
which
as
yeah,
a player,
which
it's like
which
what?
over time just starts leaving kind of like a sour taste in people's mouth. So it's just kind of being able to make sure that you have your stuff together so you don't ever have to worry about getting to that point. And when you do make mistakes, people brush it off because they're like, "Oh, dude, like, come on, you do everything great all the time. You know, you're allowed to slip every now and then. Like, this is nothing even relevant. Like, you're good."
Yeah.
And being able to have that fallback of knowing like I'm like respected as a TO versus like people just see me as, yep, that's just this guy you just say, all right, yeah, it was a 2-0, and then you just leave. But like, I'm the kind of TO where I'm sitting there trying to run bracket, and everybody and their grandmas hanging out next to my desk, trying to
Everyone and their grandmas.
trying to hang out with me because they like me, and I'm like, hey, I love having friends, and I love all of you, but like, I gotta run bracket, like,
I need to remember right now,
y'all gotta relax.
And most of us, and all of us, like, we always like, oh yeah, no, do what you gotta do right now. Go ahead, and it happens. But yeah, definitely, like, DOing is not a single track of mind type of thing. You have to multitask to the limit, for a lot of things beforehand, during, and even after as well. It's definitely something that's not to be taken lightly, and as respectable as a top player. Top
Yeah,
player performs at a top level event. Why? Because the top level TO there. It's the same thing.
yeah, like, yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like the higher quality tournament you have, the better like player environment you have. So you have a better platform for players to perform at. You know,
Yeah,
versus
like,
like the more reasons that you give a player to have like event Johns, the worse you look as a TO, right?
hmm
So it's just kind of like the more like comfortable and fun that you can make your events, the better off you are. And that was kind of the goal. Even like after we kind of rebranded, and we were just waiting for a venue, and we ended up coming in contact with Smashforge and working with those wonderful people, and running that tournament. It was nice because, like I said, everything there was proper. We did everything by my book, and it was great. The only reason we aren't doing it currently is because of COVID, which sucks.
yeah,
Um,
COVID sucks right now, especially for TOs, because TOs, their main joy is running events offline, and when you can't do that, you're just like,
I feel
dang.
like yeah, I feel like a hamster in a wheel currently. I just been chilling playing Destiny.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna do
So
my best in other things right now,
yeah,
until.
so like I look forward to offline more than anything, and you heard it here first, but like we're gonna do some crazy stuff when we get back, because I got
Mhm.
I got to I got to treat y'all, and y'all hearing this like it, we're long overdue for some fun,
Yeah.
but um, for now we're just gonna keep doing keep trying out these Wi-Fi tournaments,
Hopefully, it will.
see
I wish you guys the best with that, especially, what is it, this Sunday,
this
right?
Sunday, yeah, this Sunday at
Right.
3. It's,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be a ton of it's gonna be a ton of fun. Just it's just gonna be best hamster and orchestra having a blast on comms. Me and Derek calling some matches, hanging out with people. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Well, we're just gonna keep on
It's gonna
doing
be.
this, figuring stuff out until quarantine's over. We can get back to offline. And
Oh, I can't wait
we're
for
just,
that.
we're just gonna keep going up.
He's gonna be in your room, looking at the Smash G bracket and be like, "Can I get Orchestra and Hamster to?" Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
You just say
dude,
that. Boop.
no, I miss. I'm.
Ah,
I saw a video on Twitter the other day that kind of got me in my feels because it was like a TO like joke about like
yeah.
a dude having like a dream about calling out matches, and he like wakes up
Yeah.
and he's just like chilling at home like quarantined, and I'm like, that's me every day, dude. I'm sitting here like, I miss it.
I know,
Uh,
it's the whole experience is something that I feel like a lot of us took for granted, because we didn't know what we had until it's gone. For me, as a player, having events like those weekly was always something that you look forward to. You're like, oh shoot, it's Monday. Oh, there's MSM, right? Oh, it's Sunday already. Oh, it's Sunday. Smash Wars today. Then you kind of already know. You expect it. Like, oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
today. I got
yeah,
that tonight. I'm gonna go work. After I get off of work, I'm going to Smash Wars right after. It's gonna be lit.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Like the level of respect with tournaments that kind of makes people like want to go to your tournaments versus like, oh well, there's nothing else going on this Tuesday or whenever. Like, I'm just gonna go to this tournament.
Yeah, you want
Um,
to go then rather than being like, I guess I'll go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other like really important thing is like knowing like you need resources. You need people to
Oh
help
yeah,
you. You need
highly
to be
agree.
you need to be able to ask for help. You cannot be a selfish TO. I kind of see that be a lot of people's downfalls. Even here in the IE, there's been like tournaments that have failed because like
Barbara.
What? Come again?
I didn't say anything. I'm sorry about
Because
that.
because they're just kind of like they don't really understand like TOing, and they think like, oh, this is easy. So they just
Yeah.
go get they just get some random venue.
Hmm.
They plan it poorly promote it, have like little details about it, and then no one wants to go because it just seems
And then wonder
sketch.
like, where's everyone? You're like,
Yeah,
well,
and then it flops, and it's
and
just
then
like
now you just want to do it again. And every time you host an event that's with your name on it, people are gonna recognize it and be like, well, I'm no, yo, he hosted that event. It didn't go so well. People are like, I
so
want
it's
to
like
go
yeah,
now.
so it's like you need resources. You need to be able to ask for help,
I
and
agree, and that takes a
you
lot
need
of
to,
courage in itself too.
exactly. Um, but in the end, it's all really about having fun. We're out here just throwing these wild events for people to have a blast at, pop
Yeah,
off, have a good time,
yeah.
and that's really what it's about.
So like as a TO and even as a player, if you can speak to it, what are some memorable memories that you just like? Damn, I think IE. Actually, before you answer that, um, if you had to describe the IE in one word, what word would you just use? I know it's on the spot, but just like
Hype, easy.
hype. Whoo, a new word. Let's
HYPE,
go.
hype. Four
Hype.
letters.
Let's go
Any
IE.
any player. Like I've only been to a handful of large like ultimate events, but it doesn't matter if it's like 2GG event, here in Cali, or if it was Evo or whatever. Like IE's always there repping, and we're always
Oh,
going
I agree.
crazy mode.
Yeah, we're
Like
always out there. Like you see someone from IE playing, there has to be always at least one person behind them cheering them on.
exactly. And the other thing too is like a lot of IE players have that kind of like style, that flavor, that kind of like
Mhm.
character to them that makes them unique and makes people like remember them. And
Yeah.
it's because we're good. Not only do we have that, but like our players have character. Like people know who we are, and so
Sheesh.
it's like
Rabbit
I
said
kind of
so good.
I wanted that energy as well for TOing of people know like IE has sick tournaments, like I sick players. IE is just sick. Like there's numerous memories I could bring up where it's just like people who aren't even like from the IE, just know people here are like cheering us on, hyping us up, um,
Oh
because they
yeah.
just know like IE sick.
I is just sick, and I love the word you used, which was hype. I have an email on my Twitch account, by the way, that I have want to put, and it's called "Let's Go IE" because IE is literally just hype, hype,
That's
hype, 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 hype. And my guest before has said the same thing. Red Fox, Hamster, and Toski have all said the same thing. We're using different words, but essentially the same soul of IE is hype. IE is the place to be.
of
Uh,
course,
and nobody else can understand that more than the people who are constantly always supporting and being here at events. You have to be here to experience it. It's not just enough for us to say it right now. You have to come through, and obviously, COVID, can't do that. But when you have the opportunity to, you're missing out if you don't go.
of course, and that was like one of the main things that I noticed when I started, in the last half year or whatever, when I really was just kind of running my events, and hanging out, people meeting, and I kind of had like a consistent knowledge of all the players we had here, and just kind of seeing the different like faces we had and the different levels of talent, and realizing like, damn, dude, like IE's tough. Like I sit here and I see, at all my tournaments, you get to see all aspects of tournaments. People, you
Mm.
know, like I'm hip going, like it's nothing versus like Johnny O2, and
Johnny, I was like, who's that? Oh,
no, you just get to see all these different levels of tournament play, and I realized specifically for the IE, like the IE is tough, and I
mm-hmm.
and I talk to all these players all the time about like uh, I'm very privileged where a lot of people in the MTM crew are really good at this game. All my friends are exceptional and they're great training partners,
Yeah,
and I kind of like get to be around them in like a player aspect when they're hanging out with good players, bad players, anybody. And I kind of get to see it a lot where people were like, "Damn, dude, like why am I not improving a bracket, or why can I do this right, or why does this tournament feel so hard versus this other
like
one?"
like they
And then
struggle.
the thing I always see is like it's because like IE's tough. We have so like everybody here is good.
Yeah,
Like we have sleepers for days. Our PR is unmatchable. Like
it's kind of like you're not
everybody's good.
bad. Everyone else is just really good.
It's just that our region is stacked.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
like
I,
oh,
I,
I
I
need to go
I
play
make
too. Like,
I make that joke all the time because like I know that we can back it up. Like I tell people all the time because I've made a lot of like mutual acquaintances with smashers like outside of our region. Doesn't matter if it's like outside of Cali or out of state or whatever.
yeah,
I joke all the time about like dog. Like, I don't care if it's just MTM or if I can hit up IE people, but like IE will crew battle anybody free. Like,
I mean,
I like
she. Oh yeah, we're actually
outside of like certain places in the East Coast, like SoCal in general is
SoCal.
ridiculous,
Yeah, SoCal,
but
Cali in general is just a stack.
is yeah, it just cracked as a region. But there's like IE, we got some hitters.
IE has some. If you have to name off the hitters in IE right now.
There's too many.
J- Name
I
off
would get
10 right now.
I would
Name
go
off 10.
past I would go past PR. Like there's just too many. We're talking
Name
about
name
like
name like the top 5 hitters. I'd say in your opinion right now, and it's
in
like
my
that'd be like the definitive one, just like off the top of your head right now.
see but
Ooh.
there's a lot of data that we're missing here too because we're in the Wi-Fi area.
Oh, you're
So
right.
like
You're right.
so we got Wi-Fi sleepers now too. There's too much to go on about
We
here.
got Wi-Fi hitters now. Like Wi-Fi is its own online. It's its own like game.
What if we come back out of this and this Wi-Fi training arc has made players level up in the game to where now they start popping off at locals now. So we have like new hitters that we didn't even know about.
Dude, locals can even start to be like regionals in terms of levels of hype now. Like, oh, you
Exactly.
want a regional level hype? Yeah, just go to the weekly right there. Yeah, you definitely get that. It's like weekly.
Exactly.
You're like, yeah.
Like we don't even know what's coming up soon. We have so much like history that's about to happen for
Yeah,
not only just Smash as a whole, but our region uniquely.
no, definitely. And speaking of like the whole Wi-Fi training arc, and what's your perspective on how everything has changed within the community when coronavirus hit and everybody had to stay home basically and not be each other?
I,
How do you think that? What's your perspective on that?
I mean, it's definitely apparent that everyone's really distraught and bummed that we
Mm-hmm.
can't have locals right now. But
Well,
I know a lot of people are still trying their best, still training, still playing, still trying their best to play Wi-Fi. You know, still just living. But I know that despite what's been happening over the course of the summer and also COVID,
yeah.
that like our community is still strong. We're gonna come back and we're gonna be better than ever. Like that's not changing anytime soon. I know we're still gonna be going crazy mode the second we're able to again. Like
Yeah, I agree.
our scene's gonna be even more popping.
Yeah, and speaking for myself, I don't know if you have felt the same, but I feel like I've actually grown closer to IE community members within this quarantine than I would have if we just continued to be offline, if that makes sense.
I
Because
mean,
somehow during offline, you feel more inclined to communicate with everyone else because you don't see them anymore. Um, for example, I've connected so much more with like Red Fox, for example, than I would have before when we're offline. Um, and I think that offline time, like I said, increase the connections um, amongst each other because we don't see each other anymore.
yeah, no, I get you there. I definitely feel it's like 50-50 on both, like hanging out with
Yeah.
people in person versus like Wi-Fi. Because now, especially as like a TO, there's so many faces that I was used to being able to see every week, and people I could hang out with that. Excuse me. Now that we're just inside all the time, I'm just like it doesn't hit the same like
Mm-hmm.
I gotta hit people up on like Messenger or something and talking to them and you know
You make
no
that.
no
You
one's
make
really up
that.
to a whole lot versus like being able to actually tell people, but it's also a lot different being able to see how COVID is impacting certain people and being able to, there's been a couple people that I've like personally reached out and helped out a bit because they're struggling during COVID, and it's just a different level of connection that I kind of brought with me, um, from being able to play at locals versus they're still my friends in my community that I'm going to take care of. Doesn't matter if we're quarantined or not. So I definitely get you on that. That there's that level of connection that we're all tight. That's how the IE is. We take care of each other.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that I talked to Totsky on a previous episode about the IE and its community, or in more of a specific word, family, is that we all take care of each other. You know, we may not be blood related, or we may not even see each other often, but somehow if we're always at community events like locals or even regionals in certain cases, we all have a certain level of connection to each other that we can just go up to each other, talk to each other, and help each other out with anything. Like you said, we look out for each other, and that's something that I always admire about our community specifically. One thing that I did want to highlight that I feel like you would have a great perspective on, especially because you're a TO and you essentially run the brain of locals that you run yourself. is the emphasis of safety. I know you're part of the IE safety panel, correct?
Yeah, I actually like technically like founded it.
You founded it. See, exactly.
Yeah,
And
because
I
we
want
didn't
to
re-
stress the importance of
we didn't
having that
really
with the community here, you know?
yeah, we didn't really have a safety panel, so I just kind of got together, and at first it was just kind of like the
Mhm.
group admins and like prominent TOs, and then we kind of expanded it to like um,
Some players.
players who wanted to be able to express their voice and whatnot.
Hmm.
And now we have a good little group of people who we have our fair balance of people who who see either one way or the other way, and people who are in between. And there's we get we're pretty balanced when it comes to discussing things. I'm very privileged to say that we don't have to use the panel a whole lot. We never really have problems here. We don't have problem players, problem events. The worst thing that's happened so far is we're all stuck inside because of COVID, and it sucks.
Yeah, and for your events that you've hosted, how do you stress the importance of safety when you run your events during your events?
Well, all my staff that I have helping me at events, we kind of have like a level of conduct that we just kind of look out for. We want to make sure that everyone feels safe, no one feels out of place. We don't want anybody to have to feel like they gotta be by themselves, or that they're not um, like protected there. Um, we've never really had any like incidents at our events, nothing, no, like strange things happening, but um, which I'm glad to say. But
Yeah.
there's just there's just it's just really important to kind of have like these guidelines, like I've mentioned before, to make sure these things don't happen. Doesn't matter if it's just like problems with like player safety, or the one thing off my head that's like a kind of a running joke with MTM is that one time at a breakout when somebody stole Derek's Switch. and
Oh
every
my
and if you want to talk about
perfect
like
example.
family, if you want to talk about family, like
Jeez, perfect example, man.
we made a post about it, had like references and like exact timestamps and all this stuff, and the IE went full detective mode,
Full
and
on.
we actually tracked down the exact three people that stole the Switch, and smashers, no cops involved, smashers went and confronted homeboy personally and got our Switch back.
Straight
Wi-
up.
wi-
I,
without us even having to ask. We're like, yeah, we're just gonna do it. We've had these dudes, yeah, we'll just do it.
yeah, like we were just like, guys, should we do it? It's been quite a while since they've been gone. Like, no, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna find this person and we're gonna politely ask him for the switchback because
and
we're a
and
caring community.
no, but like it got done. I mean, yeah, it was a bit more than that, But if you know, you know. But like,
If you know, you know.
it got done, and that's like the level of like hominess you like to see. You don't really have to worry about these problems. We haven't had an issue since, because it definitely taught me and Derek like, hey yo, keep track of them switches a little better. So
Yeah, especially for regional, like how big Smash, sorry, Breakout was. It's there was so much chances for people to literally just be like swoop, and
yeah,
take it like that person did.
yeah, so like I brought up earlier, like being able to like adapt to situations and be able to improve. Like I took that as an L, as a mistake, and
Hmm.
first thing I did is I hit up some of my friends. I talked to one of my very good friends and very good TO. His name's Havel, um, and I talked to him and I'm like, hey, uh, where do I get some? How do I get some dock locks, dude? Like I know you have your tournaments. Like I need them. Like I need to be legit like
Yeah,
that. And he helped me out. Like I'm going to be investing in some of those before run any other big tournaments again,
in
or
the
even
future.
just like if you want to budget it, you could use zip ties and things like that. But um,
Zip ties
it's
kind
just
of
like
like pretty budget. They're pretty budget.
zip ties are legit if you're just doing big things on a budget, and they work really well.
Yeah.
But
Anybody else who's listening to right now, they better be taking some notes on TO.
exactly,
These are some prime advice right here for free because
exactly,
Rabbit is a saint and he wants like I'll help anybody out. You know.
exactly. Only thing I'm charging is you better like DM me a heart emoji or something. Make it feel good.
And
But
pay your venue when you come to my tournament.
no, and I really appreciate you reaching out to have me on this podcast. No, I don't get to talk a whole lot. Usually, I just got to do a whole lot of like
Yeah.
I don't get to like hang out and like a homie talk, especially for like tournament stuff, because I'm usually just running them. I don't really have the time to just chill.
Yeah, because like
Me-
the time you want to do it is that you're the time you want to talk about it is usually when you're running a tournament and
Yeah, and usually after I'm a bit too like
tired.
tired, or I'm
Yeah.
just like I don't really want to think about it right now. I just want to chill.
Yeah.
So I don't really get to share my side of the story a lot. So like I
No,
think this is like really unique, and
I,
I was really excited to be on this.
Thank you. I appreciate those
Appreciate
words.
you a lot.
I wanted to have you on the show not only because you are a prominent member within the community, but also you offer a different perspective than what people tend to think about fighting game communities like Smash or any other ones. Is the TOs? They tend to think only top players and just top players, but there's so much more to that. And I know you are a prime example within this community of our community who can offer that perspective and understanding that there is a whole nother layer that goes into organizing events like these. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, just like being a player, there's always a different level of execution that you can practice and improve on that'll just take you to that next level, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing to be said about TOing. There's always things to improve on, always a different level you could be reaching. You just keep going up, and it's a great
Exactly.
feeling.
And speaking on that too, one thing that helps a lot, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like you said before, there's courage in asking for help, but you want to ask other TOs advice and see what are you doing right that I can improve on.
100%. And it's like it's you shouldn't be like afraid or feel like, oh, I'm gonna look bad if I have to like you know ask this person like, hey, what do you got that I don't? What am I messing up on here?
Yeah.
Or being able to tell somebody, like there's been times where like where you have to be able to like establish problems, or if you can't get something done, I just be like, like Derek, like I need help, dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's like, yeah, I'm there for you, dude. And
Yeah, I agree.
people you can rely on.
Yeah, and if you want to, like I said, you can have somebody co-teal with you. You don't have to do it yourself. You don't. You shouldn't have a pride and sense of thinking like, oh, I have to organize this event and only
Yeah,
me.
like I'm everything. I'm doing
I'm
all this.
I'm
It's all
MTM.
me.
I'm everything. No, there's a team that goes behind it. You don't have to do it yourself. Thusly, not thusly, but also it makes it harder on yourself.
My
Why would
honest
you do
advice
that?
is my honest advice is even if you can do that and you want to do Captain Big To Captain Big Shot, don't, because you don't need gray hairs by the time you're 28.
Exactly, and you're like,
'Cause you're
wow, gray hairs. You must be studying real hard.
yeah, like we're here to have just as much fun as the players do.
Exactly. And if you can do it yourself, by all means, and go for it then. But don't give yourself the stress knowing that it's hard for you, but you don't want to ask for help because you're prideful, thinking that I should be able to do this on my own. That's not the right mentality.
Exactly.
Yeah. But speaking on that, as a TL, would you say that you meet a lot of faces, right?
Yeah.
You meet a lot of faces every time you go see a local. You see someone enter a logo, and you're like, "Oh, I know them. What's up? Red Fox, Banky, whomever, right?"
Yeah.
So, like, I want to ask you three questions I've asked the other guests, but they're to a different perspective since you are more of a TO.
Uh-huh.
What would be one player when you see some come confirm their sign up or confirm their attendance, and you see them enter, and you're like, oh damn, yeah, no, they're def getting top three, or they're winning. Like the enter, you're like, oh, as a player, you see that person come in, you're like, damn, I thought I
I
was gonna
get
get top eight, but like not anymore.
this is like very very privileged to be able to say this, but like honestly, like I couldn't even give you a name because like we get so many hitters at our tournaments that like
So
it's
true.
always changing. We're like like I said, we'd have like hip at our tournaments, or we have like Meteor is gonna pull up to a Smash Wars and slap kids, or you have like Caesar popping off, or you have like
Slap kids,
Razo randomly pulling up to two frames and slapping kids.
and you're like,
Uh,
dang, oh shit,
and then like every now and then you get like Toski decides to stop being an old man and take a day off of work and come hang out with us, and
and
like
you're like,
he then
oh,
he slaps kids in bracket. So it's like like I said, we have too many hitters and they
the,
like our
the,
tournaments. So like
the people who slap kids, basically, like,
yes,
like
you know what I
literally, they
mean.
don't come to play; they come to slap kids and show them that they're a top player.
Exactly.
I just have a thought of just Toski coming through and just slapping a kid, just get out of here.
Toski definitely does. Toski slaps me around in bracket. He doesn't even. I don't even get the respect since I'm a homie. I've had to play him twice. He just gives me his DK and literally slaps me around.
Oh my god! Oh no!
Like that ain't right.
You're like, not the snake. He's like, nah, you're the
Nah,
DK. He's gonna slap
I
you.
don't get the respect. He literally slaps me around. But
Oh my gosh!
no, but like that's just kind of it. I couldn't
Yeah,
really
it's
like
there's
give
a
you
lot
names because
of top players. There's a lot
there's
of top players.
too many, or just like familiar faces that are good. My honest like
Yeah.
TO input on that is like you want the like the honest hard part of like TOing at the beginning is to become more of like a homie or whatnot. Players connect with you a lot more. if you don't forget their tag. And that definitely was like the most difficult thing for me to get used to when I was first becoming a TO way back in the day,
Mhm.
because like I've always been really really bad with remembering people's names. And so
Mhm.
with TOing, if you like know them, you kind of remember like their real name or whatever, and then you have to remember their tag. Sometimes it's like both, and it gets really confusing or really like kind of embarrassing sometimes, where you're like, if somebody hits you with a whole like, "Hey, yo, Rad, put me in bracket," and you got to be like, "Shit, what's your tag again?" It
Oh,
just
it's
feels
like, oh yeah,
bad.
yeah. It's like, oh, Dylan's here. Oh yeah, Dylan's like, oh yeah, put me in, Rabbit. You're like, you got it, Dylan. It's like, no, my tag, and you're like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like that stuff sucks, but it's just like an acquired skill that comes with time. And like even now there's just kind of like a catalog of random tags, right? Just like I hear it and I'm like, yeah, it's an IE player, like it happens. But
Exactly. And it's something that's it's similar to like a feeling of like when you remember song lyrics. You tend to remember more song lyrics than you do like stuff you actually learn. Why? Because you enjoy that song. And it's the same concept you do with people in the IE. You remember their tag or who they are because you enjoy being around them and seeing them. So you're more inclined to remember who they are. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
like for me. I see people around on Red Fox. Oh yeah, Red Fox. That's Spanky. That's that's Razzo, Cyro. That's
yeah, and then
you
and
know,
then and then you kind of start learning all like as a TO, you kind of start seeing all of the like social groups of like, oh, like these people know each other from like high school with their homies. You're like, oh, this is like a crew, or
hmm
these people know each other from this, and then, oh, like, oh, these are just like they became friends through these tournaments, or
or their
um,
siblings. You know.
yeah, and you get to see a lot of like really cool character arcs. It's beautiful to see.
I love that saying, character arcs, because we're really all just character arcs in the IE
Exactly.
community. We all
Dude,
start from the
hey,
bottom or
hey,
the
hey.
top.
To, you want my honest opinion? To
What's up?
further up on when you asked me like one word to describe the IE, if I could give you one sentence or
Uh-huh.
like one like descriptor
Oh,
descriptor
go ahead.
phrase,
Let me
the
know.
IE is a region that's full of main characters.
Oh, yo, why do I vibe with that so hard? We're
Easy.
all main character, bro. Straight up.
Everybody here has ambition, drive to fiend in this game in some way or form.
Hmm.
We do not lack.
We do not lie. We do not slack. We're here to attack as a pack. Ooh, ooh, that's a Twitter post right there. Ooh.
Wild, dude.
I feel like every episode there's like one thing we say where it's like that's a Twitter post right there. Oh my god, straight up. So we talked about that one player who you know is gonna pop off this tournament. You know when they enter, they always oh damn
Yeah.
elegance here. Oh shit, you know how it's gonna be already. So now, what's a player as a TO you see who enter like either pre-reg or like on the spot reg where like they just brighten the room. They're like, oh, they're here. Oh, it's gonna be a good event, you know. And I know you can say like everybody who enters or comes to an event, obviously, but more like that specific person that would be like, yeah, I love seeing that person at events. You know, when they come enter, so, you know.
Yeah, or someone like, people who pull up and like there's like a different energy that like just
Yeah.
changes how it is. Easy, easy. So like top three people
So
off the
go
top
ahead.
of my head who every time they get in my tournaments, like everyone's like hyped to see them. They're like energetic, or like hanging out with people, or like they just have like nice guy energy, where like everyone there's just chilling. So
Yeah,
easiest free answer. I'm hip.
I'm.
That's a
Oh my
given.
god, I know exactly what event you're thinking about too.
Not any event. Hip
What
pulls
event?
up.
Thank you.
Everyone's having a blast.
Dude, you
Second.
remember Thank Yous
uh,
event?
Oh yeah, yes, like that, literally like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, oh
Like the
god,
bird, like yeah, easy. And
easy.
then
Second.
you have Swamp, easy.
Oh, Swamp.
Swamp
Even
free. Swamp
he
pulls
was
up.
too.
That's the homie. Everyone's hanging out with him.
We're like, Swamp. He's like, hey, hey. He's always smiling. And like, you're fighting him in bracket, and then you're beating him, and you look over, he's smiling. You're like, am I doing something wrong? Like, is he
And
even
then
fine right now? Like,
exactly,
no,
exactly.
he's just a good soul. He's just a good soul.
And then probably like the main person that's like if you want to talk about characters, where when they pull up into a venue, every every single person in the venue is either going like, "Yo, what's up, this person?" or they're like, "Oh fuck, I gotta play this dude in bracket."
Mm-hmm.
Spanky, 100%.
uh,
Spanky throughout every tournament, he went to like I want to say like a solid like 90% of all the tournaments I ever won ever, right? and
Hmm.
at basically all of them, you just hear you hear like a door open somewhere. You hear his voice, and half the room either groans because they're like, I gotta play this motherfucker again, or they're like, Yo, what's up? And everyone's going to hang out with them.
Hmm.
That's the boy.
Oh, yeah, Spanky. Spanky has definitely improved so much. I remember back then when he would rage so much in Smash Four, like early Smash Four. Like he would rage about everything when you're beating him. I remember back then he could not stand my Wario. He would almost beat it, but like nobody played Wario back then. And I was the only one, so he didn't really know how to fight it. And he's like, "How do you fight this character?" I still remember Smash HQ days back then. That happened. But definitely, I agree with you on that aspect. That Spanky gets that 50-50 reaction when he comes through an event. You're like, oh, you either be like, yo, what's up, Spanks? Or you'd be like, I gotta fight him in a break. Oh, okay.
You're like, oh man, there goes my fucking winner's quarters, man.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, I want two people. Like, I want winners round one, round two. Who's your round three? Spanky's.
Hey, done.
How am I losing? How am I losing?
Losers run time.
Yeah, like, who's my losers run gonna be? Okay, okay, yeah, it's not bad. 3-2 today, not bad. I'll
Yeah,
take
it's
that.
not bad. Yeah, we'll take that.
I
No,
think
no
you're gonna
tears.
accept it. You
No
know?
tears. We're good.
Yeah, no tears. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh, DOing is it's such a fun thing to do because you meet so much people.
Yeah, and
And
I made a lot of like really quality friendships out of it. So like it's kind of branched out not only just in the game, but just in real life in general. People who hit me up and we hang out just to hang out, or people hit me up
Mhm,
just to talk just to talk, or
mhm,
I play like other games with people. Like there's like too many faces I could bring up of people that I consistently talk to just all the time, just because they're great people. A lot of people have like honestly changed my life with like advice or different like like mindsets or viewpoints. Not only just like a lot of my closest like MTM friends, but even people like Lumbre, Nitro have just kind of sat me down and kind of given me these like strange top player spiritual talks, but like the ones that actually like hit different, where I'm just kind of like, yeah, I honestly never really like saw it like that. Thank you for offering me these words. I'll consider it. I'll think about it. And I do kind of like realize like, all right, I get it.
I definitely agree. It's like you tend to connect with them at a deeper level. Aside from just them as a player, aside from them as a TO to player relationship, it's like you tend to connect with them deeper as a friend on friend relationship when you see them more and more often. And it's something that you can definitely get elsewhere, but somehow through as a TO through that experience, it's like it's a different vibe that's so hard to explain. Like you can only really experience it.
Yeah.
So what's like one player that you have like a good memory with? A player though, like a player
Um,
like you see as a TO and you're like, damn, like them, I have a good memory with them. Do you remember you have anybody on top of your head? Like,
I see that's a rough one for a TO because like I have really memorable things that
mm-hmm,
happen with players like all my tournaments, but um probably one of my favorite moments from a player in general, like ever, I guess, would definitely be Evo last year when like I'd never really been to an Evo, but Toski or Dylan,
mm-hmm,
he told me like he gets you to go, told me it was super hype and that we were gonna like we could room together and hang out, and he was gonna show me all all the cool stuff. And remembering like kind of kind of like mindset coaching him and like watching him train, watching him put like so much heart into it, and him still kind of like doubting himself, and me just kind of like pep talking him, hyped him up, and watching him. We were just like laughing with like all these like Vegas people, like IE homies. Like he practiced so hard, and then like at that Evo, like he just ascended in bracket,
yeah,
and just seeing him like be able to like actually like achieve all these goals that he was kind of having like differences about, and just seeing like him kind of hit that new level of um, performance, it's just really like eye opening to see like it happen right in front of you. Like you can sit here and be like, oh my favorite player is Tweak or my favorite player is like MKLea or whatever, but it's like these dudes that you don't actually know. But I watched this dude change in front of my eyes, and I see I know him as like not only my best friend, but he's this badass player that is like super well known, and it's
Yeah,
crazy to see. Like I watched it happen like in front of me.
I
So
agree.
so there's a lot of all of these moments like this where you just see people, level up before your eyes here, and it's just like it's crazy.
Dang. You would also feel so honored and privileged to be able to observe an evolution like that. You're able to see them start off as nothing but a tadpole, and then they come out full fledged, grown up, like good ass player. And you're like, dang, I remember when I can clap their cheeks, easily, but now like I can't.
Exactly.
Now it's hard.
Exactly, but the IE has like so many faces of like personalities that just do crazy like leveling up stuff like that, or like grinders, all the not only just like the heavy hitters, but people who just do just put in work. Like, um, when you talk about like Smash work ethic, you people like Caesar, who from the second homeboy gets in the venue, he's sitting there labbing out like obscure ass combos on people he knows he has to play in bracket on like all these random ass characters, and then you watch him do it on the stream, and you're like, you're nuts. Like you just like he gets it done, and
Exactly.
and so
See,
you
that's
just see
someone who's like crazy player.
you just have so many IE people that are that just have the devotion. That's like really cool to see. We don't really have the like the half-ass energy. Like I've been to some other regions where people kind of have the like the oh, it's just Smash, oh, it's just a game, or
To
oh,
us,
like,
it's
oh,
more than a game.
yeah, or like, oh, I don't actually care how I perform today. Oh, I'm just here for fun or whatever. Like, yeah, it's cool, but like we have such a like a well-rounded balance of like we know how to like kick ass while also having a good time.
Exactly. And that's something that is so essential to understand to new players or upcoming players that want to get better, is that every time you come to a local, you shouldn't have the mentality of, oh, I suck anyways, I'm gonna lose anyways. Or even come to the TO, and I'm sure you had players come to you and be like they come to you to report their match, right? And like, oh yeah, I lost 0-2 or 2-2, and you're like, oh okay, like, oh, you get them next time. They'll be like, yeah, I'm just bad, like, yeah, it's just a matchup, stuff like that. Have you gotten that before?
Yeah, every now and then, but like a lot of it gets brushed off pretty easily because, like I said, we're like the homie region, so people are like always chilling. Doesn't matter if like they're like
Yeah,
playing tournament sets or like they're waiting for matches or they're out of bracket even. Like everyone's always having a good time, so people don't usually like tilt that hard in this region because everyone's just like big kicking it. They'll find something to do.
exactly. Or like we're even such a supportive region where we help you out if you lost. Oh, you lost.
Exact. Oh,
You lost this matchup. Oh yeah, I've heard that you, this is what you kind of had to do and all that.
oh
Or
no,
you'd be like,
trust.
that person over there, he can help you out.
Oh, trust me. I'm well aware that we're like the coaching region because we're really good. Like I've witnessed so much of that firsthand. Like you forget, uh, what we now know as as hockey world famous me brawler. That dude was cooked in a test tube in my garage with like Razzo and other top players. So many times brackets over and these top players come to me, hey yo Rabbit, can we just sit here and lab until like 5 a.m. and I'm like, sure, I don't give a shit, go ahead. And they're just grinding. Like, he's sitting there like playing with hip until like 9 in the morning. I wake up and these people are still playing Smash in my garage.
No way.
Yes, that actually has happened. Like not only just him, but like we've had multiple people do that. Like
Like in
not
the
just not
morning?
yes, like they're just chilling. They just crash out. They just want to grind, and then next week they come back and they win the matchup, and they start performing better out of region. They start going crazy because they just know how to lab.
That's so cool, dude. That's so dope. Because this is I don't want to speak too much on it. I just think that's really dope that there's people who like that. There's players here that are willing to grind that much. And hockey, you've seen his growth and who's become now as the me brawler. He's
Yeah, you want
super
you want
good.
to yeah you want to talk about character arcs.
Sheesh, this guy
Man,
is
that
the
man's
One Piece character arc, man. He's not done yet.
that man's dangerous.
Hey, this dude's like 900 plus episodes and he's still growing. Straight up. And he loves One Piece too, because I love One Piece as
Yeah,
well.
yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love this talk. We're gonna go to our last part of the podcast right now, and it's gonna be a type of fan favorite. And I like to call it the frame one questions.
Okay.
So frame one questions. I'm gonna do a little spin this time because I've been kind of evolving it as it goes, adapting it and see how I can make it more, I guess, more fun and more competitive, quote unquote,
Okay.
and make it more competitive. So I'm gonna give you. We'll see how this works. 45 seconds to answer 10 questions as fast as you can.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how fast you can do under those 45 seconds.
Done.
Okay. So
Yeah,
these
done.
questions are typically 1 to 2 answer questions. It'd be like, for example, like, what's your favorite color? Red. Okay, cool. Boom. Right.
Okay.
So there's going to be questions like that. Like I said, there'll be 10 of them, and they're going to be pertaining to you, the community, or your main, which I know your main is Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And they're not going to be super in depth questions about the main. It's something very simple regarding your main. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me just bring my timer up really quick. You can prepare your mentality right now. You'd be like, this is like Family Feud right
I
now. It's like,
no,
okay.
I was born ready. I'm good.
She's like, I've listened to 3 episodes. I was waiting for my opportunity. Like, I'm gonna kill it right now. Okay, so the timer will start after I say the first question. Okay,
Okay.
you ready?
Yep.
All right, ready. And what is the best color on your main?
Red.
What was the worst color on your main?
Green.
What's a player in the community who's always late to events?
Spanky.
Who pops off the most at events?
Spanky.
What's the best IE local?
The best IE local?
Yeah.
Biased. Anything MTM runs.
Who's an upcoming IE player?
Fuck. There's too many. There's too many. Um, 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 um. Man. There's too many. There's too many.
Okay, we can skip it.
Yeah, skip it.
Okay, best post local eatery.
Canes.
Oh,
Duh.
okay, who can you count on to bring setups always?
Uh, all my homies. I don't know, but
Pre reg or on the spot reg?
what's up?
Pre reg or on the spot reg?
Pre-reg.
Woo! Dude, you had like 10 seconds left on the clock. That's not bad.
You hit me. You hit me with that curveball. I didn't really know because like I know too many people that I like. I'm super biased 'cause I see them as a TO like
Yeah.
constantly kind of going back and forth between popping off versus like kind of hitting that gap of um improvement. You know?
Okay. That's what I felt like when I said it. I was like, maybe you think for me, I was thinking more like because we see popping off during this interview a lot, and I was like, damn, okay, maybe he might have a different meaning of popping off than I do. Because popping off for me, I was thinking like, dude, they had like a close ass event, or like almost every match they had, they like pop off at the end. I'm like, woo, like,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
No, it's Spanky easy. Spanky's always
Yeah,
yelling.
thank you, exactly. He's like, let's go, dude.
Exact. That's literally
Spanky is the
him.
definition of like popping out, bro. He'll pop off you in round one. Like,
All right. As a very very late answer to that question, like one like the last things I'll say on this podcast, my
mm,
honest opinion for a player that will probably start popping off when we come back from COVID,
mm.
Buzz easy.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Fuzz. I was thinking Fuzz or Mio.
Well, hey, both those people free.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because Fuzz is the most popular one. I hope he listens to these to know that he's seen this way. Um, bro, I remember talking to him like, "Hey, why do you pick up Joker?" Well, I really love the game. I never played Smash before, but I love Persona 5, and I found out you can play him in Smash. Like, oh, why not? And he found it really fun. And he started getting good, and I was like, "Dang, you just did that just like that? Like, fuck,
Yeah,
dude, okay."
and he's nuts.
And he's freaking crazy. He's so talented. Like, why does the I have so much talented children? Sheesh.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And for like the who can you count on to bring setups, I know you can say honestly anybody. Like,
Yeah.
what's up,
I got
Becky?
I got the hookups.
You got the hookups. For me, I thought my first person I thought it was Dank.
Yeah, he always has the homie set up.
Dank he has like 3 setups. You're like, I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. I'll
Easy.
bring 3 monitors and stuff. I'm like, dang, Dank is the homie, dude. Dank is the homie. That's why I love Dank, man. Dank is the almost awesomest boy. Man, popped off the most best IE local Smash Forge, obviously.
Duh.
And duh, like, yeah, I have to say that. Like best IE player, definitely Fuzz. Post local eatery, Canes.
I-
Um,
If if that's even like a minor like question, the second option is always Denny's. Easy,
Denny's, bro. I put
easy.
up at Denny's last October. I've never gone back.
What,
Yeah,
bro?
don't eat spaghetti at Denny's.
Bro, Denny's slaps.
I mean, I haven't gotten back. I'm sure when I go back, I'm fine. But like after throwing up there, I was like, nah, I'm gonna
Okay,
go to
okay,
IHOP instead.
okay. I see you. I see you.
Let's see, pre-reg or on the spot registration? Pre-reg or on the spot registration? Yeah, I like
Yeah, I mean,
pre-reg.
I do both. I mean, it just makes things a little easier, especially for me to like get like seating done, if especially top players
Do you
pre-reg.
find it annoying when you host pre-reg, but then people never do it and they just register on the
I
spot?
I don't get annoyed 'cause that's just kind of like a if you're a homie, you help me out type of thing people do. Or some people like to if they're really on top of it, they pre-reg because they're not sure if they'll be able to like make it in time, so they at least want to be like there and in bracket. Hopefully, just maybe get like the DQ if they're a little bit too late and be able to play in losers. But the IE notoriously has a lot of top players that are like, "Hey, bro, I'm 15 out. Could you put me in bracket?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like,
10 minutes
yeah,
before the 10 minutes before bracket starts. Hey, Rabbit, can you put me on bracket?
and I'm like, hey, that's crazy, but you could have pre-regged.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, that's sad.
Like if you're not, like if you're honestly like I'm pretty cool with and I don't really I don't do it very often, but at least if you pre-reg and you
Mm,
message me like I'm not gonna be there, or I do like just flat out DQ you, like that's fine. Like at least like you're in bracket and you could if you still get there late, you can still play.
exactly, exactly. And but sometimes people do. They're just like, well, I can't get there, but I'll still go there. But like, I'll just go there for friendlies now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heavily agree. Well, Rabbit, this concludes the end of our interview on this podcast. I honestly thank you so much for willing to take the time to be a part of this. I really do appreciate. I appreciate everything that you do for our community, especially as a TO and as a community member. It's not just me. Anybody else can say it. When you think of Rabbit, you think great events, great TO, great person, great overall human being within this community. Man, thank you for everything that you've done for our community, man.
Of course. I mean, thank you for having me, and I appreciate you taking the time to question me and pick my brain about all this stuff.
Well,
Uh,
what's about?
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Shout out MTM crew.
Hey, let's
Shout
go.
out all my best friends, all my homies. Uh, follow follow us on social media.
Let's see, where can
Shameless
we find you? Where can
sh-
we find you?
shameless flex at making the meta on Twitter. Find us on Facebook.
Taking the
Come
meta.
to our tournaments. Above that, iesmash.com. Check out our events when we come back from COVID. Like that's our main hub. And trying to get everyone like
Straight
make
up.
sure they know make sure they know like that's one of our main tools to run our community through besides the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How about Twitch?
Twitch, MTO Smash on Twitch, easy. Follow us.
Free. Sunday.
Hey,
This
yeah,
Sunday,
it's Sunday.
September
It's just,
20th,
yeah,
right?
if you want free hype, pull up.
Pull up. Even online. You're not in person, we still bring the hype online.
Exactly.
You already know, y'all. Obviously, I'm the graphic designer too, so I have to support. But also, not that I have to, I want to.
Well, I mean, you made the badass graphic for it, so
Who did?
shout out shout out Listo, easy.